Right, so a few folks have been asking some questions about these lamp circuits, and I thought it was worth taking a little bit of time just to look a bit more in depth about it. And obviously what we're going to build now will allow us to look at that, test a couple of things, and then build another lamp later out of that. But I'm going to be looking at some bit more detail. For instance, can the conductive ink be overpainted? Well, the answer is yes. So I'm going to show the overpainting and that it still works. And then there's been some questions about this actual circuit. Now, the circuit's relatively simple. It's an NPN transistor, I think 1153, running this little IC, which is 555 in A-stable mode, which allows you to touch it, register that touch, and flip the output signal to the transistor. So that's really essentially how it works. There's not a lot to it, to be honest. It's got a dozen component count. It's really quite simple. But that's perhaps a bit more than we want to get into. So what I'm really going to do is make a lamp base and then connect that to a piece of paper, overpaint the paper. Now for the lamp base, all I'm going to use is a square of spare MDF I happen to have kicking around, because I'm going to fit a baton holder to it. This is what's called a bayonet fitting. There are actually several kinds of fittings. This is a standard European bayonet fitting. The screw fitting is called an Edison fitting, and you get those in different sizes. You need to pay attention to that for obviously to get your lamp to fit. We're going to use what's called a baton holder because it makes everything nice and simple. I quite like things to look sort of sweet, so I found that these door handles actually operate quite nicely as little feet when you want to put something on a foot, really. So all we're going to do is drill out the MDF to make everything fit it all, and then we'll have a look at how we actually connect everything up. So let's get on with drilling that out. Fasten this baton holder onto this and put some nice pretty legs on it. And if we gather our bits and pieces together, we can have a look at how we're actually going to connect all this stuff up. So the baton holder itself, the little lamp bit, will come off. There we go. And that's going to be reconnected later. So what we've got is our lamp, our touch switch, the bit that we're actually going to lead to the touch, and then the plug that goes in. And what we need to do is connect all this stuff together. Now in this lamp holder, what you'll see is 4 separate terminal blocks. You've got 3 insulated blocks and 1 uninsulated block. And what we need to do is screw those wires into these blocks because it makes a nice firm connection. Now you'll notice that they're connected to line, loop, neutral is what they tend to be called. You gather all the neutrals together in there. One of the lamp holders, the blue one in the British case, goes into the neutral. The brown one goes into the line, which is going to be the live. Now remember, on these, it's colour-coded to tell you where it goes. And I'll put the wiring diagram at the end of the video. And there are 4 little wires sticking out. This one's the neutral. This one, the white one, is the lamp live. And this one is the supply live. So we basically connect that to that, which is our plug. And then we connect it to there. And we're going to connect all of that stuff up and fasten it all down. So that's what we're going to do next, is just connect all of those wires into this nice insulated solid base. once it's wired up, I can just close everything off, clip this back into its place. Pop that on. There we go. Now when I plug that in and put a lamp in, all I have to do is touch that, or anything that's attached to. This particular lamp, incidentally, is an LED lamp. So if I plug that in, then when I touch that crocodile clip, that lamp will turn on. Then when I touch it again, it'll change the brightness of it and it'll turn it off. So let's plug that in. And you might notice, incidentally, I also put a cable clamp on the bottom there. And there we go. On high cloth. Now what I have to do is create a patch for this to be put on, and that's what we're going to do next. And that's what we've been doing all the time with these lamps, is just wiring it like that and creating a touch patch. And we're going to create the touch patch and see how it does when we overpaint it. So that's the basics of it. And all I've done here now is painted a bit of paper with our ink, and you can see the touch switch wire coming here, and it's connected on there on a little bit of copper. So I took a little bit of copper and sticky tape, actually, copper tape, soldered the wire onto the tape so I could affix it to the bit of paper and then paint a big old square. So in essence, all of the lamps are constructed this way. Where you paint this is the only really different, the only thing that's really different. So of course, when I touch it anywhere on that pad, it will come on, go bright, and then go off. There we go. And anywhere I touch that does that. And where I paint that is the bits that I can touch. Now, you might see these other things lying around. This one is actually a large size cell I'm testing, and these tests take quite a while. So while these tests are doing, I'm doing this at lamp exploration stuff. And that is essentially how to put all of the lamps together with the wiring, following the wiring diagram at the end of the video. There were a couple of questions that have been asked, and one was some detail on the touch switch electronics itself. Now, I've shown you a picture of the touch switch electronics, but to be honest, there are an awful lot of circuits on the net showing you how to build the electronics needed for a touch switch. And the other question that was asked was, could we overpaint this? Well, I've already over varnished this, although you can't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it with a bit of emulsion paint, and we'll see if we can actually change that colour and still get the touch light to work. Okay, so here it is, and I've painted half of it with emulsion paint and left the other half. So you'd expect it to work if I touch that side, of course, because it's not been painted. It has been varnished, remember, but not been painted. But the really cool thing is this side. There you go. So it turns out it'll work just fine if you overpaint it. So this is just an ordinary emulsion paint. Anyway, there's a bit more of an in-depth look about the basics of it all. I hope it was of help, and thank you very much for watching.